And another part of this tutorial is something that I want to do, making another scene, which is darker with cyberpunk, a lot of neon light, and a lot of light pollution. Well, just overall, it's like we want we want making the real, well, not real, but it's more often to see from the dark cyberpunk genre, which is very dark and a lot of lighting, a lot of neon light. Well, but I maybe not. I'm not going to do a lot of neon light, but it's like you can get a feeling like this is a very dark place and very crowded, and you know a lot of pressure from the city. And yeah, this kind of feeling is what I wanted to do is. So one thing I wanted to do is I want increasing this kind of little house, little shop, because I think they could be a very interesting and iconic element to representing the kind of cyberpunk feeling, because there's a lot of this little vendors. They try to selling a lot of thing, or or this kind of building. They are kind of like a pyramid architecture. It's like all the architecture look like very temporary. And next thing is like I want to using this building that we designed. We designed, and also creating a lot of interesting pattern on it. I want to use it as an element to. I want to demonstrate in one of the way that we're using a lot, which is right now this is a vertical building, right? But actually we can use it as a Lego piece to tweak it rotate it. Well, I'm not actually tweak it. I'm just rotate it and make it, from vertical into horizontal element. And yeah, now we can use this element as, maybe some kind of bridge, across the scene. But of course, this is a very different approach, because we still wanted to make sure our conversation can work, the linear perspective conversation. So right now I try to finding the good place to do, set this building, but and later on I will think about maybe we can, you know, using to on top of the this composition, creating some kind of ceiling slash uh, um, ceiling slash bridge, the kind of feeling and look. And yeah, right now I didn't join or organize the file very good. I sometimes when I select and moving things, the things some element didn't follow. And yeah, and I think what I did is just tweaking things here and there, and just try to finding a new way to just make this building looks more like from a vertical element, had a better horizontal look. As you can see, I adjust some of the detail on it to make the flow uh, even stronger. And right now I'm moving through this direction. I feel like it's good blocking element. It can block the composition. It can giving a framing look. And also I would duplicate it again, which is I was repeat myself something I say previously, which is we wanted to repeat some of the elements in order to creating this kind of like a gradient feeling, because by repetition we can creating a linear perspective feeling, which is our brain will automatically generating some kind of repetition flow. We our brain will feel like, oh, this thing is existing in the foreground and now it's repeat in the midground, and then maybe and later I'm going to repeat again in the background. So our brain will feel like this is the space, moving just one by one, and from the foreground to the background, and we can have this kind of flow and rhythm. Yeah, rhythm I think is the better word. Right now I try to finding the interesting element. I think this cable could be interesting, but later on I decided, I can do it in the Photoshop. And yeah, and till this point I feel like I can continue to bring some of the interesting element back, uh, but overall, I think we can go into creating lighting, which is, oh, I forgot to mention is I turn off the sunlight. So as you may remember at the beginning, I was in the world property, I was just using the daylight, daylight texture to creating the ambient skylight, and later on I creating sunlight, but now I turn off the sunlight and also only left a very ambient, very diffuse this skylight. And right now we can adding the lighting, right? And also actually this is the something I'm going to talk about it in the next chapter. But right now I can doing a little demonstrating about what I'm going to do, which is I'm adding the light, and the yeah, we can start the lighting the scene and the next chapter.